So is this what Trump has been gunning for the entire process, Trump v. Hillary? What happens in November if that is the matchup? Will voters be energized? Will it be a contest of conservative principles versus liberal principles? Or would a Trump v. Hillary matchup just be personal? Joining me now from Johns Creek, Georgia, political consultant with the Weathers Corp, Seth Weathers. Seth, how do you see that in November if it is Hillary v. Trump? Do you see it a debate over substance, or do you see it more like a bar room brawl in New York?
Room brawl over substance. And I think you saw that from the comments you just showed earlier from Trump. I mean, he's already discussing NAFTA and other things that have been done, as well as Benghazi and other issue-based items. So even in his jabs, he's still putting the issues in. And I got to say, Graham, it's very nice to join you here today, the night after we do now finally have a Republican nominee. So I'm sure we can all look forward to coalescing together behind Trump and moving forward into the November race.
Well, there's absolutely no doubt the Republican Party must coalesce behind a single candidate. But let's face it, Seth, it ain't over yet. He hasn't clinched. There's only one candidate that can get to 1237 right now, and we all know that, and Trump's the only one. He's the only one who can get to 1237 during this process on the first ballot. But the fact of the matter is, at this point, he still needs to step up his game. He's got to gather somewhere around 57% of the remaining delegates in states, again, that are not going to be on the Atlantic seaboard. They're not going to be New York. They're going to be tougher. Wouldn't you agree?
You know, tougher compared to taking those votes from Cruz. Cruz is not going to be, I think, as time goes on, California is going to become more and more difficult for Cruz. Now, I know he's making a move right now, hoping to help himself with California with his VP choice, but I don't think that's going to be enough to put him through it. And if he loses Indiana, it's truly over.
Indiana is obviously his firewall. I want to get to his presumptive choice for vice president in a moment. But first, 97%. That's the target right now that Donald Trump is on right now. He's been averaging somewhere around 92, 95. Now, with these recent wins, he's at 97%. So again, Seth, I say to you, he's about 290 delegates away from the nomination with 500 remaining. Of course, it's not impossible. But again, at some point, he has to close the deal. He wrote the book, Art of the Deal. He's got to close the deal here.
I agree, and I think he's in the process of that. I think last night showed us that he's in the process of it, and he's brought in more people. He's professionalized his campaign. He's stepped it up a notch in a lot of areas. And I think we're going to see that throughout the end of it until he hits 1237. And I think that he's going to go into the convention and walk away with a nomination after the first round. We'll never make a second ballot.
Okay, you spilled the beans. Let's deviate just a little bit. Ted Cruz campaign going to make an announcement. We are told that Carly Fiorina would be his choice for vice president. In my opinion, too little, too late. It's almost a pandering type of move. I'm not going to use the word desperate, but I think that it's not going to move the needle. Desperate. Do you?
It's definitely desperate. But yes, I do believe it is pandering a bit. And I think it's probably pandering to California in a large way. I think he's hoping that she'll help him there. But no, I don't think that's going to be enough to pull him through this. And I do think it was, as you said, a very desperate attempt to get some media coverage today at 4 o'clock. So I don't see that putting him where he needs to be. And they have nothing left to try. He can't get to 1237. He got his butt kicked last night in all 5 states. Where do they turn? I mean, they're running in a race that they can't win without going to the convention and getting the votes of, a room of a few hundred people per state choosing even where he lost. That's his only option.
Indiana is the firewall, for sure. But, in case you haven't figured out, Seth, and during your time on this program, I'm a number cruncher. I love to crunch numbers. And we hear the Trump campaign talking about a record number of people voting for Donald Trump. And that might be true, but you have to kind of zoom out and look at the big picture. And what we're seeing here is that Donald Trump, yes, has garnered 10 million votes during this process. That's 39% of the overall vote, which tells me that 61% not voting for